I'm Polite Savage, and today I'm going to talk about the agricultural system as it relates to stocks, clean energy, and our revolutionary technologies that are creating protein substitutes. Let's get started. The first thing I saw was during the presidential debate, one of the presidential debates in 2020. And during this debate, one of the candidates said that they're trying to get rid of the cows. And this was when they were talking about the Green New Deal. And that made a light bulb go on in my head, thinking to myself, if they're getting rid of the cows, they want to transform agriculture. So I was thinking to myself about the Impossible Burger and how the Impossible Burger is a completely meatless, no animal, plant-based hamburger. And that's huge because once you infiltrate the fast food industry in the United States, that's when you're going to start changing the culture. And when you change the culture, that's going to have a huge, huge influence on the stock market and the economy, of course. Now, I want to get really specific on how this all fits into this clean energy future. So if you remember, Joe Biden got us back into the Paris Climate Accord, and the name of the game there is to get to zero carbon emissions by a certain date. And the way to do that is certain entire sectors are going to have to go. And one of those sectors is livestock. And livestock is a huge, huge carbon emissions industry. And this is the comparison I want to make just to start off. So livestock is similar to gasoline cars, and the replacements for these things are representing our clean energy future. So cows, I'll start off with, are actually one of the most invasive species on the planet right now. And it's not the cow's fault. The fault is that humans have reproduced them so much that there's so many cows right now that the amount of methane and emissions and just sheer devastation of land that they feed off of is immense. It's huge. It's the measurement, the tons and tons of carbon and methane that go into the atmosphere. It can't be overstated. And not to get too nitty gritty, but I actually did research, and what happens is when the cows eat grass and they digest the grass, the methane is created in their stomach from bacteria. And while this is kind of gross, it's really interesting. So when they belch, all of this methane is released. So if you take thousands and thousands of cows and you put them all in a pen eating grass, the amount of methane gas that's flying into the atmosphere is so immense that removing them from the equation, so getting rid of cows, or 90% of the cows, is going to have huge implications. Also, the other thing is the resources it takes to feed the cows grain, the processing of that grain, the shipping of the grain, putting them into diesel trucks and taking the grain all over the United States. Again, just carbon going into the atmosphere. So the whole supply chain of livestock is that dirty carbon footprint. So let's put it all together. So in order to have the cow, they have to put all the feed on a diesel truck that drives all the way to the livestock field. It's delivered, the cows eat it, release all this methane, and then also, because they're in that giant pen, they're ruining the grass, they're ruining the land, so that land is basically useless, and they can't even farm on it. So all around, this is really smart. And to finish up my comparison with gasoline cars, so if cows are like gasoline cars, what's the replacement? For cars, it's electric vehicles. The replacement for cows is going to be these protein protein replacements. So the cows being replaced by plant-based proteins is going to eliminate that huge carbon footprint just like electric vehicles are going to replace gasoline automobiles to eliminate that carbon footprint. The protein substitutes are made out of soy primarily, and the soy is processed in a way that allows it to mimic the nutritional value as normal beef or chicken or egg, whatever it's replacing. They also put supplements in it so that way it has B12 and other things like that. In order for it to replace those types of foods, they have to provide the same nutritional value or people aren't going to go for it. Another thing they do is they have like expert scientists that figure out if it's the same texture, because texture is going to be huge with these substitutes for chicken, beef, eggs, those types of things. And the look of it actually looks amazingly like the real thing, which is really bizarre. And then the last and probably most important factor is they have to get the price lower than the cost of beef, chicken, and that kind of thing, because if they don't, people are gonna just keep buying the real thing. Beyond Meat actually just sliced all of their prices so that way they're less expensive than chicken, beef, and the normal livestock agriculture that people are used to buying. And people naturally gravitate to what's the least expensive for the same value. So if I can still get the same nutrition from something that's less expensive and market it as a healthier alternative than livestock, chicken, beef, agricultural products, they're going to go for it, and I think they're already starting to. Now, this is when the financial analysis comes into play. Whenever you're thinking about a company and its success and whether or not it's a good investment, you have to think about whether or not the company has overcome the hurdles or the barriers for them to infiltrate the market, get in with the masses in order to grow their capital, revenue, and so on. These companies have definitely shown that they have gotten over the hurdles. When you look at the adoption, when it came to the Impossible Whopper, when it's come to the Dunkin' Donuts egg sandwich, those huge suppliers that everyday people use, that is enough for me to say that these companies have a really bright future, and we can be confident that the long-term growth is there. And whether or not they get acquired by one of the huge companies like Kraft or General Mills or one of those giant food supply companies, I think it's a great investment right now to get started. Beyond Meat, I have already invested in, and I've already made gains on it. So I would be fairly confident that if you do your research and you look at these companies in this way, and not just this one, anytime you're getting into a clean energy investment, you need to dissect that investment into these components and understand that if they haven't overcome a lot of these hurdles, then it might be something to wait on, or if you think they have super strong potential, you might be able to bet on that, and maybe they'll blow up like these companies did. That's it for me today. I just want to say, first of all, I'm not recommending you buy any of these stocks. I'm not a financial expert, but I'm just so happy that you watched and listened to my video today. I'm going to continue to do more deep dive analysis videos similar to this one, so please subscribe. Please leave a comment. It helps me so much. And you guys have a great week or a great weekend, whatever it is, and adios, farewell.